Hello, welcome to It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, I tell you, I'm at one of my most favorite place in the world. That's at any UFC Fit gym. you know, I love UFC Fit. I mean, a big fan of everything that they do, and I tell you, it's more than a gym. Everybody look at UFC as just being a boxing gym and all that. I mean, that's true. It's got that element in it as well, but it's got so much more. And I got this absolutely fantastic guest who is one of the co-founders of UFC, that's going to tell us a whole lot about this absolutely wonderful organization. And Michelle, you can already see that I'm excited. Anytime I walk into one of these places, I'm excited. But I want everybody to meet real quickly. The assistant AG Armando, how are you doing today, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Uh, are you excited about this?
Oh yeah, of course.
So
Love it. I love it.
I'm excited about it. So I tell you, Michelle, this is so wonderful. Can you please just start this because wherever you're watching this at, whether you watch it on E360 television, Transfer TV, YouTube, Amazon, Apple TV, over 39, a live streaming mechanism. Welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do, just go to the comments on whichever platform that you watch this on, and you can ask. There are great guests. Any questions that you might have, and I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Michelle, can you do the honors?
Oh, yes, most definitely. So the title of today's show is UFC Fit. It is more than just a gym. And the purpose is getting to know Derek Gallup, one of the founders of UFC GYM and the Global Executive Vice President of Experience at UFC GYM. We talk about the history and the background of UFC GYM and what makes UFC GYM, UFC Fit unique and different from other gyms and how physical health and mental health are linked together. So let's talk a bit about our guest today, Derek Gallup. He was one of the founders of UFC GYM and is currently the Global Executive Vice President of Experience at the UFC GYM. In this role, he is responsible for creating and facilitating positive experiences for members and team members of UFC GYM. Previous to this role, he was Executive VP of Fitness at New Evolution Ventures, and he also was a consultant at Steve Nash Sports Club. He is a consultant at Steve Nash Sports Club. Prior to these roles, he was Executive VP of Personal Training and Retail at Crunch LLC. Derek was the chairman of the board for IHRSA, International Health Racket and Sports Club Association, from 2017 to 2018, and served on the board for 5 years. Derek is also the founder and president of Sparkle Carla Gallup Foundation, whose mission is suicide prevention and to support survivors of suicide loss through activity, relaxation, kindness, laughter, and education. He's an active fitness enthusiast, competing in triathlons, Spartan races, road races, fitness competitions, tennis, and enjoys these events most when competing with his 24-year-old daughter and 21-year-old son. So please welcome Derek Gallup to the show. And also Armando Sanchez. Again, James said he is the assistant general manager at UFC Fit Temecula with 10 years experience in helping others achieve their goals through health and fitness.
Welcome to the show, Derek. We're going to bring Armando back in a few minutes. But how are you doing today, my friend? How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. You know what? I'm so fired up from the introduction that I got to see from your show, and then the introduction that Michelle had for Armando and myself, and the fact that you're at one of both of our favorite places, UFC Fit Temecula. Like we're wearing similar colors. Like I feel fantastic today.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And so I'm just excited to have you on the show. I really enjoyed chatting with you yesterday, and wow. Hey, I tell you what, Derek, can you tell our audience a little bit about you, where you grew up from, and how you became such a fitness enthusiast?
Yeah, so I actually I grew up in Hawaii. We moved there when I was 5, and it was because of 5 winters in Michigan. My family decided they'd had enough with cold weather. And so growing up in Hawaii, it was interesting. My dad really got into running and never bought a car. And so our family spent weekends at running races. And because there was no car for my dad, if I wanted to go places, I was running, I was biking, I was skateboarding. So that really became a mode of transportation for me. And then as I grew in more into high school, I got into wrestling became my sport. Running was more my way of staying in great cardio shape and losing weight for wrestling. But I was really, really passionate about wrestling. I was a state runner-up in wrestling in Hawaii, wrestled my freshman year in college, and just loved it. And so when, it's interesting how it kind of came together and was able to then have wrestling become part of what I do now for my career with UFC GYM. So we'll kind of talk about some more about UFC GYM and UFC Fit too.
Wow. So Derek, how did your family and your community inspire you? I know you did all the wrestling, and man, I have watched some of your workout videos, man, and wow, they almost dangerous. Not dangerous. That's a person really have to be in top notch shape in order to have that type of endurance and energy. So I commend you, my friend.
For the workouts now, I like part of this is mental focus as well as the physical, and I'm big on kind of combining those two things together, mental and physical health. But going back to your question about growing up, we were so into running. My dad was actually on the cover of Runner's World. He had the fastest marathon time for a U.S. man over 40 back in the 80s. And so I didn't realize that people didn't run everywhere. Like, I just thought that was what you do. And so it was kind of, like, even in my third grade class, we had this relay team that we all ran 4 miles, and we had a 40-mile relay that we did. We were in the newspaper for that. The first race I ever did in Hawaii, I was on TV for being 6 years old and running a 6-mile race. And I just felt like that was just sort of what I grew up with. And then as I went into sports, I had a great mentor. So my dad was one of my fitness mentors, although my mom ran too. My mom she ran marathons, so it was a whole family affair. My dad was very competitive. If he ran a marathon, he'd see how many people he could beat. My mom was very social, and so for her, it was how many people could she meet. And I think that I'm sort of a combination of the two. Like, I'm competitive, but I also really like that social aspect that comes with camaraderie and teamwork. With my wrestling coach, she was another one of my great mentors and really helped me through the dieting and the workouts and everything. But, I've stayed in touch with Coach Shores, and we've remained friends. And as I had kids, he gave me a great lesson about fatherhood, about parenthood. And one of his questions to me was, what is your mark of a great parent? And I guessed all kinds of wrong, things that weren't the answer that he had. And now I really realized that I really like where he was at. He said, the mark of being a great parent is that when your kids are adults, that they still want to hang out with you. And so that I've kept that with me. And so really, I do a lot of things with my adult children, and it inspires me, and I have a lot of fun with that.
Man, I got to agree with that one because sometimes, your kids, they start thinking that you're not cool anymore. They don't want to hang out. And if your kids are still hanging out with you, that means they still think you're cool. And that also keeps you young, keep you energized, especially when we read a couple of things about your daughter competing with you on certain contests, and she go with you to do those and participate as well. Why is that so important that the kids, your daughter and your son, maintain and compete and work with you as you continue to inspire others?
Yeah, I think that there's, if I guess the thing I look at is it really would be hard for me to say, hey, I'm going to be in a position where I want to inspire others to work out, but I'm not getting my own family to do it. So I think that's one. The other is we have fun. Like, we just enjoy each other's company while we're doing these things. So I'll tell you, like, the first time that my daughter turned 18 and we played tennis together as adult partners, which was really interesting. It wasn't a father-daughter. It was, we were two adults playing tennis. And it was strategic and it was athletic. And, it was funny. We played 5 games together. We went 5-0. And then I had one match where she had to go back to college. And so I had a different partner and I lost. So she would laugh about, I got to ride her coattails in tennis. And again, this is one of those things where we get to have fun. And so next month, I've got where my son and my daughter together are going to do a Spartan race with me in San Jose next month. So we're looking forward to it. My son's second and my daughter's first. It's going to be a lot of fun for us.
Man, it is fun, man. Especially, it's like I said, when the kids are participating. So Derek, why is sports, why is fitness so important to you, and how do you go about inspiring others that should be the way of life?
So, I think, and I don't think I really recognized this until fairly recently, but there's such a connection between your fitness, your physical health, your fitness, your activity, let's call it, and your mental health. And I think because those two things are so aligned, I think that's even more so. It's not, especially as we get, as we age, it's not about the aesthetics. It's not about the cosmetic. It's about how do you feel? And when you have somebody who can be active, it just gives you it gives you confidence. It gives you energy. It helps you with, overcoming illnesses. People who are active are able to get through a lot of different types of illnesses much quicker and with much faster rehab times. So I think there's such a great benefit to being physically active, not just the health part, but just I think an improvement in life, an improvement in your mindset about how you view life by doing those things.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, because mindset is so important in anything that we do, and I believe that's a combination of equilibrium. Your emotions, your intellect, your will, the physical side, mental side, spiritual side. I believe have to be in balance, and the best way that I do that is bringing in physical fitness as part of that, where I get a chance to meditate, I get a chance to concentrate, I get a chance to just clear my mind and just concentrate on the positive things, even when we are embedded around negative things. So I think that's so important. But we got to take a station break. But when we come back, we're going to really dive off into how did you get into the fitness industry. We're going to talk about our great gyms and talk about a lot of the things that you are doing to bring awareness and also give people an opportunity to reach their goals as from a fitness and a mental perspective. So I tell you, whichever platform you're watching this on, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask any question that you might have, and I promise you, we'll get your answer. It's your life. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show with Your Life. I got my guest here, Derek, Derek Gallup, Executive Vice President Global for UFC Fit. And wow, just an incredible guy. Fitness, I mean, that I can tell that it just flows through his brains and veins and everything. you know, and I'm excited to have you on the show today, Derek. And Derek, can you tell our viewers and our listeners how did you get into the fitness market?
Yeah, so I started off actually in department store retail, and I was with Macy's and then Liberty House when I moved back to Hawaii. And I was good at it, but I didn't find my passion in it. And I had studied marketing and kinesiology in college. And at the time, my wife became a manager for Gold's Gym Waikiki, and we'd sit at dinner and she'd tell me stories about what she was doing for her day. And I was like, being able to inspire people to change their lives, or get off the couch and run their first marathon, or do their first triathlon, or a bodybuilding show, or whatever it was. I just felt that was so inspiring, and I had to be a part of that. And I set up a meeting with the owner of the gym. It was Ode Hogan, and Ode and I met, and we hit it off so well that it turned into a job offer. And so I moved into it. Gold's Gym Hawaii was sort of the first fitness experience I had. I was there. I was able to, I took my retail experience. I ran all the retail operations there. I introduced nutritional products there, and then I helped them with their personal training, converting that from outside contractors into an in-house business. And so that's how we got started. And then 24 Hour Fitness came and bought those clubs. I got to meet with Mark Mastrov, who's the founder of 24 Hour, one of the godfathers of the fitness industry. We were doing so well in Hawaii with our 3 clubs. We were outperforming 32 clubs in California that they moved me out to the mainland. And then my career kind of went again. I did retail, did nutrition. The last 8 years, I did the personal training and group at that time called group exercise for 24 Fitness, and then that sort of transferred into other businesses now that we're working on.
Wow. So I am very excited. How did the concept for UFC Fit come along?
Yeah, so it was actually about that time when we had left 24 Hour. I say we, Mark Mastro, who was the founder, Jim Rowley, who was the divisional president, Adam Sedlak, who's our CEO at UFC Gym. We formed a group, and we were kind of starting some new businesses, and one of them was UFC Gym. That there's this concept, and Mark and Jim had been big UFC fans, so they were tight with the Fertitta brothers and with Dana White. And so where I got to come in with this was with Adam, and I remember this like it was yesterday. It was 2009. We flew out to Las Vegas to UFC headquarters. We walk into their corporate office and sit in the corporate boardroom waiting for others to come in, and then in walks Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta sat down right next to us, and we did a whiteboard exercise on what is this UFC Gym thing going to be. And when we went through, there's the tangible things. We knew we were going to have BJJ mat space, and we do an octagon, and we want to have bag rooms and turf and technology and food service, kids programming. But the things that really stuck out from the meeting were that we want to be 2 things. One, we want to be authentic to the UFC, authentic to MMA, authentic with each other. And so that was really important, that all the training and things that we did led to an authentic experience. And the other was the word family, and that we knew that we were creating something more than just even a community. We were creating a family, both of our members, of our team members. But then the thing that I really love that we did with UFC Gym that I haven't done in any other brand is that we really brought families. We said children as young as age 6 could get their own membership. And we actually sometimes on Saturdays and some busier afternoons, we have family workouts where you can actually go in and work out with your kids, and you're going through the same type of workout. And it's such a great inspirational thing to see families come together in a really positive environment, doing things that are great for their body, doing things that are great for their mind, creating conversation and creating deeper bonds and relationships. And I absolutely love it.
Man, I love it, man, because I have experience in a few of the UFC clubs, just like what you said, 6, 7, 8 years. It's a lot of the kids there being instructed and just loving it, running up and down, taking karate, just doing all of these things. It's like, wow, those kids are really going to understand life, because they are starting now. I'm talking about health and fitness perspective because they start now young and it's instilled in them. And I think that UFC is the first gym that I ever seen that had that concept. So that is fantastic.
You know what I love when you have the kids in there. They're just there. It's the love of movement. It's just the love of activity. It's not even about it's working out so much. It's just this thing is a fun place to come, and they're finding that movement is joyful. And I think when you get that you start to kind of create the opportunity to solve some of the larger issues in the world right now. When you look at the U.S., we're 40% obesity rate, and the health issues that come with that, some of the mental health issues that come along with that. So I just think if we can really make an impact with kids, it's just now you're creating this you're turning the flywheel, and you're just going to make such a better impact long term versus just taking someone who maybe their doctor told them they had to go work out. That's a hard person to kind of get them to find that love of movement and fitness. Where with kids, they come in and they gravitate to it and they love it.
Wow, they love it. And, so just like we titled the show, UFC Fit is more than a gym. And it is. Because you guys got so many, like you just mentioned, kids programs, youth programs, family programs. And sometimes you guys have fight nights and all of these great things. Can you talk about those things? What makes UFC different than most gyms?
Yeah, so when you think about for UFC Gym, what our vision statement is that we want to revolutionize the world to train different. And so when you think about what does that mean? Well, you could come in 7 days a week and every day do a very different workout. You could do jiu-jitsu. You could do a striking workout. You could come in and do a Zumba workout. You could do functional training in one of our duck classes on the turf. You could do Olympic lifting on the platforms. You could do cardio. And you could come in and just do your more traditional strength training or other functional types of training. And then on top of that, we have recovery. Because what we're finding more is, we've been spending so much time on we didn't even know we're beating our bodies up by doing all this exercise. And it's really important that we have a way for them to recover. Whether, we utilize cryotherapy and hydromassage and percussion therapy and compression. So those things that we have there that make it more than just a gym. And then the other thing with recovery, nutrition is such an important part of that. So we do nutrition, which is an element involved there. And then also one of the interesting things is we're starting to bring technology in to be more involved with the workouts we do, which incorporates, the heart rate training and being able to see your heart rate up on the board while you're training, but also creating this community that you can capture your workouts when you're outside the gym too. So there's all these elements that we're bringing together that, like you said, it's train different. It's more than just a gym. It really is this community inside the gym, which I think is great when it's face to face. But even when you're not, you've got other ways that we're connecting, whether it's social media or through heart rate training. There's a lot of different ways that we can connect.
I want to show our audience a little bit of some of the things. We're going to do that throughout the rest of the show.
Perfect.
UFC. Here we go.
UFC Gym family, MyZone. What an incredible partnership we have.
What is MyZone, you might ask? Well, MyZone is a heart rate monitor technology. You can wear it on your chest, or like I'm doing today, you can wear it on your wrist with the MyZone switch. When you're working out, we're all putting out effort. And what MyZone measures is how much effort are you putting out there, and it actually gives you a score, and it really motivates you to want to do more and compete with your friends, compete with yourself.
It's going to fit right in the UFC Gym training system. So whether you're working with Fit on your nutrition, whether you're working with one of our personal trainers or you're taking a class, the MyZone technology is where it's at.
I'm very much a metric nerd. I want to know what's going on with me. I know my calories. I know my heart rate.
It's really helped me reach some of my goals. So I've actually figured out how to best utilize my time in the gym.
There's constant re-engineering and redesigning of my workouts.
And so just as you get into better shape, it makes you push yourself harder.
To maximize the results based off just changing up a few things.
At UFC Gym and UFC Fit, we actually put your MyZone heart rate up on the board, and you can compete with your friends while you're in a class, or maybe even just doing your own workout or working with a coach one-on-one.
I kind of like having my name up there and just
getting to see where I'm at in comparison to where other people are at. It's really fun. There's a few other people in the gym that I actually go head to head with.
Like, I was working out all last month just because I wanted to at least be like top 5.
And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people would get out of this. If they don't have mental fortitude and strength, they will gain it. If it's already there, they will compound it.
We're really excited about partnering up with MyZone to bring you the Ultimate Fitness Challenge, where you get to compete with others, and if you do the best in your club, you get to go and be in the national championship in Torrance, California, and compete to be the fittest male or female member in all of UFC Gym. We're so excited about it, and I hope you join us on this journey with you and your MyZone.
I love it, man.
James, what we're actually getting, I'm wearing the Ultimate Fitness Challenge shirt from last year, but we're actually just next month and actually in 2 weeks, we're going to start getting people engaged in it again for this year. So the event itself happens on October 14th. In every location, we do these challenges, and the workouts, we will let everybody know what round 1 is, but round 2 and 3 are kind of secret. The coaches go through and do it the night before on Friday so people can come in and watch it, and then they know what to expect on Saturday. Then the winners from each club, or if you're in a regional, if you got travel, you come into Torrance and there's a national championship, and it's just a blast. You have to win a club to go there. So I got to compete one time in the championship. I won at Huntington Beach, and I was standing next to one of the coaches, and I said to him, I feel like I'm old enough to be everybody's dad here. He goes, no, you're not. And he asked how old I am, and his face, and he went, oh, he goes, you're 6 years older than my dad. So not only was I old enough, I was like, I'm old enough to be the crazy older uncle.
Man, I tell you, I love the concept that you and Adam came up with the zone. I mean, I'm just like a lot of the folks that we just saw. I'm looking at my name there, competing. Trying to outdo what I did the following day. And so I think that's a absolutely wonderful motivator in doing it.
And you can challenge others, but it's also about challenging yourself too, because you get the data that tells you, how did I do today versus yesterday? How did I do this month versus last month? And then there's long-term goals, because if you wear this and you do the minimum 1,300 reps a month, at 5 years, you hit Hall of Fame. So I'm like 9 months away. I'm excited to get my Hall of Fame badge. It'll be up on the board now next year. So that's going to be kind of fun.
I think you're going to hit Hall of Fame before that time, because, man, I just like I said, I checked out a few of your workouts, the short video clips that you be doing, and I think they're fantastic. And I think that a lot of people are going to be inspired by this. And I tell you, we're going to take a station break. We're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back and we're going to continue to talk to Derek, and we are going to dive deeper into UFC. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Hi guys, my name is Michelle Kastner. I work out at UFC Fit Point Loma.
Brandon from Costa Mesa.
I'm Coach Taylor. I'm from UFC Gym Costa Mesa.
I'm Michael Golden. I'm a coach at UFC Point Loma.
I feel amazing, and that was so much fun. Just big kudos to everyone that competed, and we're ready for next year.
I think that's my favorite part about just this whole process, the regional and the nationals, is just one, the community and being around people who are just pushing themselves to the absolute max. It's really inspiring and awesome to see.
Competing, it's been an awesome experience, especially as a coach. We get to see how hard the members push, and this is just icing on the cake to be able to compete myself.
Pretty difficult competition altogether. You have a bunch of athletes from different areas. Ultimately, that's what I loved about the competition.
Every girl in here pushed me, and that's exactly what I came out here for.
100%, if you did not sign up this year, sign up next year. Don't get in your head about it. Literally just have fun, work out with your friends, and just push yourself.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I got Derek Gallup here. Executive Vice President Global, UFC Fit, and I tell you, just like anybody know that this is my favorite gym. Wherever I'm at in the states, and I always look out and try to find one of these the locations that's there. And Derek, you guys are growing. You guys are growing tremendously. Uh, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners about some of the locations and some of the programs that you all have? If you guys got any specialty programs or anything at UFC, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so right now some of the new clubs coming up. Actually, we just recently opened our 5th location in Hawaii, in Hilo, which is the hometown for BJ Penn. So it feels like the whole town of Hilo is in that gym because it's really not that big of a city, but like the gym is packed, so it's great and there's great energy there. We just got done opening our first gym in Pittsburgh, right downtown, and that's been amazing as far as the energy and the welcome from the way that we've been welcomed into the community there. We're getting ready. Our next clubs coming up are going to be in Brea, in Orange County in Southern California, and also Doral in Miami. That'll be our 5th club in Miami. Doral will be like our 13th location in Southern California. And in addition, we're growing tremendously internationally. We are in 39 countries right now. And yeah, so, when the interesting thing is you say, well, where is there more growth that you can have? And you say, well, the UFC is viewed in 150 countries. So yes, we're in 39 already, but man, there's a lot of places where there are fans of the UFC, people who want to train as like the way a UFC athlete would, or people who just want to be in an environment that's going to be inspiring to motivate themselves. So that's sort of some of the growth that's happening. When you asked me also kind of about some of the special programs and things, so we talked a little bit about the challenge, and you had some videos there, but I did want to talk, one of the things that we did, we started it in 2019, but it was really a focus, and I talked a little bit about it, but it was focused on recovery. And I almost kind of, we toyed with the name pre-covery because there's parts of this that you really want to do before you work out, and there's parts to do after. So I'll talk a little bit about that. One is cryotherapy. And with cryotherapy, it's getting yourself into really cold air that's minus 170 degrees. That's the coldest you could go, up to 3.5 minutes, anywhere from 1 minute to 3.5 minutes. But what happens with that? We knew going in that there's a lot around. It can help with some of the inflammation. Maybe I've got some pain in my joints and so forth that helps with that. But the part that I didn't know until we got into it was how it increases your dopamine and it increases your adrenaline, which are two things you really want for a great workout. So you go in there, get a nice warm up, and then you're ready to go. And the feeling that you've got, some of the best workouts I've had have been, I did cryotherapy before. Then when I get done with my workout, what I want to do is then compress. And so there's Normatec is our partner on compression. There's boots that you can pull on that compress your legs and really recirculate the blood and help you with recovery immediately after your workout. There's hips, there's arms, and then there's also, we do hydro massage. And then we do percussion where there's like those guns that are real fast tapping, like a massage that you're getting there. So we've got this area that's really set up for people to take care of themselves, both before and after workout. And the one thing that you were talking about was sort of this meditation. I find myself meditating to get through cryotherapy. It's minus 170. I'm in there for 3.5 minutes, and I really focus on my breath work. And I'm really kind of focused inward, and I'm embracing being in the cold. I'm recognizing that I'm cold. I'm embracing it, and I just come out of there feeling so refreshed, not just physically, but because of the fact that I did, 3.5 minutes of breath work. I feel fantastic coming out of there.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have thought about that many, many times, but it's kind of hard for me to get the courage to go in there for 2 or 3 minutes and. But one of these days, Derek.
Here's what I'll tell you, James. And Temecula's got one that's a nitrogen gas based, so you do need an attendant to help you get in and out of that one. But the ones that are electric, and say if you're in Point Loma or if you went to Corona, if I'm in there and it's too cold, you know what? I push the door, I'm in control, and I can just walk out. So, if you say, hey, I think I'm going to do this for a minute, but at 30 seconds, it's just like it's too much, you know what? That's okay. You can just step out. So that's one of the nice things about it is that you're in control of the experience that you're going to do there, too.
Wow. I want to talk a little bit about a lot of people just look at the fitness portion of this and a little bit of the mental portion, but they don't look at the nutritional. side of it. Can you explain to our viewers and our listeners why this is so important as well?
Yeah, there's always been this debate about what percentage of your fitness results come from nutrition, and we started having this conversation. If you didn't eat, then 100% of your results are coming from nutrition, right? I mean, so we just know that we wouldn't live, we wouldn't sustain if we didn't have nutrition. So we know we can't get results without having success in the kitchen. So there's a few key windows that I would look at. There's your pre-workout window, which is really important. Some people want food, some people maybe they want a pre-workout drink, but I think there's some element that you need to make sure that I'm focused on doing something to ensure I'm going to get the best workout possible, feel the best. I like a pre-workout drink with our partners are .fit, so my kind of pre-workout cocktail is NO7, creatine, and aminos, and I've actually started to add just a touch of baking soda to that mix. And then when you get done, you've really got this window where your muscles are screaming for glycogen restore. They're screaming for they need nutrition. I like to have a shake because that liquid nutrition getting back in there is really important. You can go to an arm bar. We have all arm bars in a lot of the gyms. I like to make my own utilizing nutritional products from Fit with protein and a lot of fruit and vegetables that I'll do. But I just think that making sure that those two key areas are really important pre and post workout. If you can do some other, have a salad a day or something simple for you to follow is fantastic. But those are the two biggest opportunities we have to improve our results is that pre and post workout meal.
What would you tell our viewers and our listeners that are listening is that just can't maintain the willpower? I'm talking about the mental perspective to get up and have a routine, just like it's permanent for me. I have to get up and do my 6 miles, or I have to do something. How would you encourage them to develop the mindset where fitness is part? It's like paying the bills. It's like paying the rent. It's like, So, what would you tell our viewers out there that's not motivated like that?
I use the term paying yourself first. You talk about paying the bills. You got to pay yourself first. And I'm going to say it's also like brushing your teeth, or things that we just know we got to do. We just have to do them. And so you and I were talking this morning about that we like the morning workout. Not everybody loves that, but I've found that the people typically who have the best success of sticking to a program are the morning workout people. So if it's something where you can do, say, hey, I'm going to get up, have a little routine and get myself, like for me, I'm a foam roller. So I roll my body. After I got injured when I was in my 40s, I foam roll from head to toe and get out the door. And that's the way that I get started. But I think about not only, because it might not be motivating what it does for me, but I think about how do I feel? And I feel so much better if I do that first and take care of myself. And then kind of coming back to the nutrition side, just one interesting little tip that I found: eat a big meal before you shop. Don't shop hungry, because that's when we make the worst choices. And so, because I don't want to, I've got willpower when I go to the store and do my work on one. I don't want to have to willpower when I'm on the weekend hanging out or at night. So my willpower is at the store. So I don't bring all those things that are going to tempt me back in the house. And I make sure that I'm full before I go to Costco or before I go to the grocery store. I want to make sure that I'm thinking with my head and not with my stomach when I go out there. So those are some of the tips that I've got.
Wow. And you're absolutely right. If you eat and then go shopping or go whatever that is, you might not force yourself to be greedy and buy and eat more. One of the aspects that I have learned, especially with COVID and especially with a lot of things that's going on, people get out the routine of working out. And they get out. I mean, just let's let everything go in. And then we back ourselves up in the corner. We have tragedies. We have problems. We have this and we have that. Can you tell our audience why it's so important that mental, physical, emotional mindset, and how do we develop a mindset that's going to bring all of these things together to help keep us together when we do run across trials and tribulations?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. It's a big question, right? I'm going to come back to also to one of the things that helps you get started. Let's just say I'm struggling to even start and I can't get out in the morning. If you know that it's something you want to do, it's important for you. It's also really important to get the help of a professional, meaning a personal trainer. because a couple things happen when you do that, right? I've got accountability. Someone else waiting for me. I've spent some of my money to do this, so I don't want to waste that. So I'm going to go do that, and I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to do it safely. I'm going to keep because getting an injury and a setback, again, that's another mental hurdle to have to overcome if I'm injured. So if I have a professional that can help me do those things, that's a huge aspect to it. But I was going to share with you, there's a really interesting study that came out of Australia, and they took 3 groups of people that were diagnosed with clinical depression, and they said, okay, one group's going to get medication, one group's going to get therapy, and one group's going to have exercise. And so they compared the results of how are they doing post this and how is their depression going. And here's what was amazing. The group that did exercise only was 50% better results against depression versus medication and versus therapists. I think the best is if you can do all those things in a combination, but if you're only choosing one and one that's really good for you, it's exercise. And so that to me, if you're kind of talking about that, what are you finding that's there between mental and physical? That I just think there's actual science behind it, that people have done studies to say that, this is the best way that you can actually work on things that may be going on mentally from a depression and anxiety standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. This is so exciting. We're going to take a station break, but we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. We're going to pick it up.
I can't wait to come back.
So I tell you, wherever you're watching this at, which if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask any questions. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life. We'll see you shortly after the break.
A mixed martial artist in peak condition, I think, is the best athlete on the planet. The discipline and the practices that we put into effect when we're training for a fight, they cross over to everyday lifestyle, everyday fitness. Just because you come to UFC gym doesn't mean you're preparing to fight. In fact, not a lot of people do. If you want to do that, if you want to choose that and that becomes a passion for you, then great. This is a great place to do that. But if you just want to come, work out, get in great shape, and improve your confidence, your fitness, your flexibility, whatever it is, you can do it all under this roof here at UFC.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'm having so much fun, you know, with Derek Gallup here, the Global Executive Vice President of UFC Fit, and wow, he is educating us, and I tell you, having a positive, strong mental mindset and attitude. Attitude is everything out there in anything that you do, and I believe that fitness is part of that, and making sure that we stay home. So we're gonna pick it up from there in a minute, but I would be remorse not to talk about my new book that I just released 3 weeks ago. Went #1 world, #1 bestseller, #1 release. It's called A Black Man Point of View. A lot of people are like, wow, this is just about black people. No, it's not. This is book is it's kind of like a history lesson. It tells you why many black men think the way that they do through colonization, slavery, and all of that. That was back in the day. But it's a roadmap on how to just put most of that stuff in the past and just learn to love everybody, regardless of whether they're black, white, green, gold, purple, whatever that is. It's all about love and respect. And this is a roadmap that will help you out in understanding some of the ways why we think. So you can pick up my book, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon, or anywhere where books are sold. So go out and get your copy of it. And I just want to put a plug in that UFC is allowing us to do our first book signing today in Temecula. So, hey, thank you so much, Derek. Thank you and Adam so much for giving me an opportunity to do this. Yes, sir.
Well, we talked about, my goal was to get down and visit with you in person. I want to be the first one in line to get the autographed book. So we'll have to figure out how I can get that. I won't be first anymore, but I'll have to
you coming down to Temecula for their a 2-year anniversary? I think it's you mentioned the 26th or something like that.
Yeah, so I'll be down there for that. So
I'm flying back up here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
we're gonna have to do that. Get to meet in person then.
And I would love to do another show with you here if you have time.
I would love it.
Yeah. So, hey, but what are some of the things that UFC got coming along the way? I know about you mentioned 6 openings, but some of the other things that you guys are looking at doing. Do you guys have an Atlanta or Georgia location that you got?
So Atlanta, we've got a group that's working on. We don't have any set timing yet, but we've got a group out in Atlanta that's working on some gyms there, and there's some other groups that are working, but nothing that I can announce just yet. But I will say that we're getting ready. Last Saturday, we did our first ever global Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belt promotion. So across the globe, we had people getting promoted in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from 6 years old up to people in their 60s and 70s. And it was so here's what I'll tell you is really exciting. We had our first ever black belt promotion in Hawaii. So, it takes usually 10 years or so to get a black belt. So I was letting BJ, I sent a text to BJ Penn. I was hoping you could maybe send a video over to Ian Bishop, was the gentleman that got his black belt there. And BJ texted me back and said, what time is it going to be? And I let him know it was 10. And so BJ got on a plane, flew over to actually do the belt of the black belt for Ian Bishop. So he got belted from the first ever non-Brazilian to win the world championship in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So that's and also a UFC Hall of Famer and our business partner in Hawaii, which is amazing. But it was great to see. I was in Huntington Beach and got to see almost 60 people in one club get promoted. It was so exciting. So what's coming up next in Jiu-Jitsu is we're going to do our first ever regional tournament. So we're going to have tournaments in Hawaii, in Northern California, Southern California, Miami, and the Northeast. And it's the first time we're ever going to do this. There's it's going to be weight class and belt oriented for men and women, and then we're going to have tournaments for kids from, again, starting with, you got 6 to 8 year olds, you got 9 to 12, and then you got above 12. And so it's just, I'm really excited. We've never done this before. We've never done a company-wide thing like this. And I just think we're really getting to where, again, it's about train different. Yes, we're doing some cool things with the fitness challenge. You've got also jiu-jitsu tournaments. And then what we're adding in our bag classes is we're actually partnering with MyZone. That we're going to put the workout of what you're what combos and things you're going to do for all of our classes are 5 5-minute rounds. And the reason we chose that's what a UFC championship fight is, right? So now you get that feeling of, hey, I'm going to get through 5-minute rounds. The first 3 rounds are going to be on the board. It's my zone driven. The last 2, because they're championship rounds, the coach gets to tell you what they're doing. So it's going to be really exciting. We're testing this out, and we're going to get this launched into all of our clubs in late August. So there are a lot of exciting additional things happening inside the gyms as well.
Wow. Hey, do UFC offer any meditation and mindfulness classes, or you guys looking at that?
So we have a pretty robust different types of yoga that we do. So, I think, depending on, some people will get into some mindfulness and meditation while they're doing it, but I think we are really actively looking at bringing meditation, group meditation, guided meditation brought into the gym. And again, I think, it's interesting because I think that some people get meditative results out of some of the things that we do, whether it be through cardio. I think I can kind of zone out and sort of get into my breathing and meditation. I talked to you about the cryotherapy. I say jujitsu is one where you're having to be very mindful of what you're doing, both to try and win, but also make sure that nobody's getting hurt. So I just think there's elements that you have to be thoughtful in all the things that you're doing and having high awareness.
Wow. Yeah, so we're down to about the last 3 minutes of the show, but Derek, can you give our viewers and listeners some takeaways that they should have picked up from this great interview that you and I just had?
I think the biggest thing for me is one, and I think you and I we talk about this ourselves. Be excited about the opportunities that are ahead of you. And again, if you've got some injuries or something that's there, figure out things that you can do that are going to work around your injuries, number one. But number 2 is at UFC GYM and UFC Fit, it's there was this kind of, people thought, was it a fighter's gym? Like this, it's not. It's so much more. When you come in and you see 6-year-olds that are in there learning to find the love of movement and the love of learning some of the martial arts and the fitness, it breaks down all those barriers of intimidation. It's a lot of fun. We've got people from all age groups that are in there working out together, and I've been with a lot of different fitness brands, and it's the most encouraging group. I think there's a lot, whether it's a conditioning class or it's a bag class or you're learning jujitsu, everybody's there looking to help everybody improve. Like it's not competitive. It's where we're really looking to make everybody feel better about themselves. And there's other classes that are just, kind of just fun. Like you've got Zumba and you've got, body pump and different things that you can do in there too that are just fun classes. And if you enjoy working out on your own, to me, there's no better place to go with working out on your own, between the technology and the great equipment that we have inside UFC GYM. I personally love it. And for me, I just, being with UFC GYM, I found myself launching out of bed in the morning to go figure out what's going to be my workout today, because I'm so excited to get there to work out, but also the friends you see. I'm excited about who am I going to see and what kind of conversations are we going to have when we get there. That's the other part that's really fun. It's not just the workout. There's the community. There's the opportunity to learn about my heart rate through my zone, to do nutrition with .fit, to do the recovery with, I loved cryo, to do the cryo. And, those are the things to me that just make UFC GYM very different. You can do different workouts and have different ways that you help your body in addition to working out.
I love UFC gyms, and I'm just so happy that you guys are expanding, because I'm on the road all the time. And just like I said, every city I go to, I'm looking to see if they got a UFC there. I tell you what, my friend, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. Now, I'm going to fly back in here for your 2-year anniversary, and I would love to sit down and do this again. And just anybody that you bring, I don't know which one of the boxes or somebody that you're gonna bring, like you guys do all the time, but I would love to interview them as well. And it's just gonna be a fun time like it was last year. Adam gave me the opportunity to do this last year. We had so much fun. So I will be back up, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. I want to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I always, my favorite saying, always dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's your life. We'll see you then.